Jai Rama Rama Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Varada Jaya Giri Varare Jaya Varare Gopi Jana Varada Jaya Giri Varare Jaya Dare Yashodarana Jaya Vratajaranjana Jaya Ranjana Yashodarana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Madhava Jaya Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivrakacharya Astotara Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Das Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवस अरिगौर भक्तरिंद की जय समावेर भक्तरिंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदो. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to first thank you that you are here. As Srila Prabhupada in the early days of this movement talked sometimes to empty rooms, I can also do that, but it's not so inspiring. So it's simply wonderful that despite all that climatic conditions, actually so many came. Usually when it's colder, then more people come. So, but I'm absolutely inspired by seeing this. This is probably the biggest amount of people I saw in this temple since I'm coming here regularly. Come from all corners of Croatia, actually. It's simply wonderful. So it collaborates with the subject matter I was asked to speak about. It's called cooperation between devotees, between us at all. So, of course, first I immediately a little bit objected. I thought, well, I'm known for being very straightforward. So cooperation is an issue and subject which creates in itself a quite sometimes differentiated emotions. As a fact, because this material world is a world of dualities. When you find somebody saying something, you will find immediately somebody saying opposing thing. When you find black, there will be white. As a matter of fact, we define things on basis of the opposing element, good and bad, nice and ugly. This is all exactly opposing. So obviously, it's not really a unification. When this, right away in the early days of this movement, became projected into the devotees, who were all chanting Hare Krishna, want to serve Krishna, that's a devotee, okay? Agrees Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still they have a problem. And they reported to Srila Prabhupada, devotees sometimes they argue and they are not agreeing with each other. Srila Prabhupada's comment was instant. He said, just see, it's not all one and the same. Because we are not all one and the same. We are, according to our philosophy, one and simultaneously different. That's not possible to understand on material platform. In material world, it's either one or it's different. There's nothing more. No. Spiritual life means we are one as devotees, while we simultaneously are different as eternal individual parts of Krishna. So I was intending not to become emotional. Some people saying, now he will tell a story again, huh? This is my image, the storytelling. No. I have to disappoint you. There will be not many stories in this lecture. Rather, I can illustrate to you how nice cooperation could be if we would take Krishna's words seriously, as in Bhagavad Gita. And they are, in Bhagavad Gita we find everything is explained. This book explains absolutely everything. It's just we have to learn how to listen and how to understand what Krishna is actually really saying. Like example, I give just an example. This is from the third chapter, text 6. Krishna says, I will just read the shlokas. What makes cooperation different or difficult? When one is still strongly materially motivated. This bodily existence is based on this misunderstanding. I am this body, and whatever belongs to the body is mine. Yeah, they go even so far to say this is my country. Yeah, these identifications are completely rejected in Krishna consciousness, and we see it. We have so many devotees from so many countries coming together. So Krishna says, one who restrains the senses and organs in action. In other words, he knows we have to control the senses. Yeah? But whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender or hypocrite. When Srila Prabhupada was informed there is still so much agitation between devotees, you may be surprised, but he didn't even ask what the problem is. He said, whatever agitation amongst devotees arising comes still from unfulfilled material desires. We sometimes don't even know it. Yeah, that there's something pushing. There's push. Vegam it's called push. He's eating something. I want to eat it too. Why is he having this and I don't have it? Envy. Envy comes from unfulfilled material desires. So how can you cooperate like this? Difficult. So Prabhupada said, you know what the cause of agitation and non-cooperation is? Unfulfilled material desire. And it's still the lust comes up. And from there, dissatisfied and agitated, we spread the agitation to others. This is a very serious, deep point that's for everybody himself to consider. How far actually I'm still unhappy? Why am I so unhappy? Well, because I expect something I will not get. I would like to have it, but I don't have it. So therefore I'm not happy yet. This is always dwelling there underneath, behind every conflict, behind every problem, how to coordinate things. There's individual dissatisfaction. I give a very simple example. One brahmachari came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I have doubts. I feel agitated. I don't know if this philosophy even is right. How do I know? I didn't saw Krishna yet. I don't know who spoke this. I have doubts. Prabhupada looked at him and he said, don't worry, we will get you married. The brahmachari was shocked. It was the last thing he expected to hear. He wanted some philosophical discussion or whatever. Prabhupada went right away to the root of the whole thing. He didn't waste time. That's your problem, not the philosophy, okay? You are emotionally disbalanced. And even we know marriage is just can be another source of great agitation, but it's regulated. It's a regulated agitation, you could call it. Sorry, I'm not so romantic, but yes, it's if you want to, don't believe me, try it out. Yeah, so it's a regulated agitation. That's already better. So the brahmachari got married. He had no doubts. He had no time even to have doubts. Get married, you get very busy, you know. Yeah, very busy. So many responsibilities, so many things. And already there on that platform, you find how difficult it is to have cooperation. Because I feel and I see and I think differently as the other one. Why doesn't he understand what I think? Because I feel actually that he thinks that I want this, but I don't want that. He doesn't understand what I think, what I feel, what I want. Consciousness. And it goes back and forth like this. You know, they always feel, I'm in love. I found a person who feels, thinks, and wants exactly the same like me. How long that lasts? Not long. I can promise you, not long. Soon you find out, yeah, but he doesn't understand what I feel. He doesn't understand what I think. And he doesn't even know what I want. I don't want to go now and turn the whole thing into a male-female, psychological analysis. But cooperation, very difficult. Very difficult. In a material world, people take cooperation, they speak about this same issue, but they take it as something very, it's actually very, very simple. You comply with my desire, you give me this, and then I will cooperate. It's not actually love. It's not actually cooperation. It's business. Okay? You cooperate in your job with the company, you get paid. You don't cooperate, get out. Simple. Money and sometimes police. They make sure that you cooperate. Yes. They are trained to make people to cooperate. Yeah? There's only these two things going. Sorry, that's it. Then I talk so many flowery words about humanistics and nah. It's money and police. Now in Krishna consciousness, basically we never have money. And we don't have a police. Anybody can come here into this door and walk out anytime he wants right now. There's no guards out there, go back. Stay in Krishna consciousness. No. That makes life really challenging. It's a voluntary thing. Either you want to come, you want to stay, or you go. So cooperation is something which can be only based on Krishna conscious understanding. Thus we suddenly unite. I want to serve Krishna, you want to serve Krishna. I understood Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. You must understand Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, then Krishna says more in the Bhagavad Gita. He is more specific. How we can unite. Oh, there's another one in the same chapter. Krishna says, this is very relevant, and I'm in the right place to quote this. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This is a universally applicable principle. Once upon a time, this country was united somewhat. There's always somebody underneath who goes, nah. But it was very prosperous. It was very respected. In no time, out of the country, which was basically consisting of woodcutters, and fishermen, it's called the regions valley like that, very simple, emerged Yugoslavia, which was respected and, even worshipped secretly by other countries. Why? Well, there was a strong leadership. I have heard stories from old Yugoslavia, People still remember that. They go, oh, Tito. They changed this Tito, they have this Tito mantra, So, and Mr. Tito was not always what you think he was. If you didn't like Mr. Tito, not so good. This is a pretty graphical story. I just heard it yesterday from an older devotee. He said, I think it was his grandmother. She was fascinated. Tito. But her husband was drinking in a bar. He got drunk and he insulted Tito in a state of drunkenness. Actually, he urinated on his picture, but that's a detail. That's very graphical, okay? So police came. He got 3 years jail for that. If you don't like the picture of Mr. Tito, 3 years jail. Yeah, but she was still a young woman, relatively. She had 2 children. So she found herself without the support of the husband. So she made a pilgrimage all the way to Belgrade. Tito was sitting there in his palace. And she begged for audience for darshan of Mr. Tito. And actually, she was just desperate. And sorry, but the ladies here, they can be very demanding. They can be very firm. I'm not going to give a lecture about Serbo-Croatian ladies, but they can be very heavy. That was visible even in the war here. When they want something, go for it. So she was very persistent. I want to see Tito. So finally, seeing this desperate mother there, they allowed her to have a darshan of Mr. Tito. And she just fell at his feet and she was going, you know what happened? My husband was drunk. Yeah, I know he was an idiot. I can prove that he was an idiot. But now I am a lone mother here with 2 children. What do you think? What shall I do? The next day, her husband was released from jail by the direct order of Mr. Tito. So it's called the king. Okay, in the Vedic times, we have kings. So this is just an example of what happens when I have a strong leadership. And strong leadership doesn't mean what Krishna doesn't speak about here, some blindfolded dictator who is surrounding himself only with flattering people or something like this. No, we have the ultimate example of absolute perfect leadership in form of Lord Ram, who was going in disguise in a town out at night, listening what people are talking. You know, he was connected to the people. So leader must be connected to the people. That doesn't mean democracy. No. Democracy is, as one non-Krishna conscious man said, democracy is the last trick of tyranny. It's all manipulated and cheating. You can manipulate people too. What's the problem? Just because the majority of people are fooled, that makes the leader better or what? I mean, and it's all the time visible. It's very visible. But a real leader, he will listen. A real leader will collect informations. And real leader, I'm quoting now one American president. They shot him. He got shot. He said too many real things. Not very popular. In the politics, no. So they killed him. But he said, a real manager of the state must make sure that on every responsible post, there is somebody sitting who is 1,000 times better like him. That means no envy. You have to be pragmatic. Oh, this is good. This man is good. You are responsible for this. This man is good. You are responsible for it. That gives us in Krishna consciousness also an idea how we can cooperate. No envy. We should actually see, oh, this person can do much better like me, so please, you help him. Instead of envying him, you help him. And that should be quite easy when you understand what the mission and the purpose of our is while serving Srila Prabhupada. You will be amazed, even Srila Prabhupada was asking in a form of management. Philosophy is another thing. Prabhupada was very clear. There was no question of discussing, really. But in terms of practical management, he asked the Buddhists, what do you think? Should we do this and that? And when he said, Prabhupada, I had an experience with this. This doesn't work so good. Prabhupada said, oh, okay. Because it's according time, place, and circumstances. Prabhupada sometimes sounded even contradictory. Because another time, another place, another circumstances, he actually changed his mode of management. But in principle, he didn't change. Like Prabhupada came to the West, he had to change so many things, adjust. You know, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, whoever doesn't chant 64 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, he is fallen. So Prabhupada said, okay. Then he saw the hippies, Hare Krishna, I'm hungry, Hare Rama. They said, okay. Then we cut it half. Everybody must chant 32 rounds. Again, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Never be able doing anything. Just chanting and being hungry. That's all. So Prabhupada said, okay, we cut it again half, 16. But that's the minimum. I will not go below that. That you can manage. So then 16 rounds was established. The principle chanting according a certain amount of rounds according to a quota, that was maintained. That was not changed. Same thing Prabhupada said in the beginning. No, there will be no ladies in a temple here. No way in Vedic times, a woman could stay overnight in a temple. Temple was for brahmacharis, sannyasis. That's it. Yeah, but then Prabhupada saw there is as many ladies joining this movement as men. So he said, Hare Krishna, please chant Hare Krishna. You can chant Hare Krishna at home, in a domestic environment. And the ladies told him, but we have no home. We are living on a street. Hippie girls. I have no home. So Prabhupada was going, okay, what we are going to do with that? So he introduced something which was never done before in the history of Vaishnavism. He introduced the Brahmacharini ashrama. There's no word about Brahmacharini in Bhagavad Gita or any Vedic scripture. Sri Maha Brahmacharini Uvacha, the big Brahmacharini said, no! But Prabhupada had to call it something. So suddenly there was girls in the temple, living like nuns, and there was brahmacharis, all young people. When I joined this movement, the place I joined, and most of the ISKCON, the oldest devotee was maybe 22 years old. That was a senior Vaishnava. He was 2 years in Krishna consciousness. So, and then the girls, yeah, sorry, they were beautiful, yeah. So what do you do with that? Prabhupada took that risk. And he said, and everybody goes out and preach Krishna consciousness. And we did this. And I have no bad memories on those days. This was because Krishna is not feministic or chauvinistic. We are all parts of him. Okay? Hey, here we have another inspiration for cooperation. We are all parts of Krishna, So we don't go, woman, man, woman, man, woman, man. But of course, we have different bodies, and this is exactly defined in the scriptures, how we should regulate the bodies according to their nature. Krishna says in the same Bhagavad Gita, you cannot suppress the nature. It's already designed. You cannot change the nature of this body. Sometimes the devotees think, we have to make spiritual advancement, we'll change the body. No, doesn't work. Arjuna wanted to do that. Arjuna said, I will not fight. I don't like killing my friends, my relatives. I go in a forest and I will meditate. Krishna was just laughing about him. He said, oh, Mahabaho, what a yogi we have here. What will you do in a forest? The same thing you are doing here. Fighting, managing. It doesn't matter. You will fight wild pigs, or you will manage, monkeys or whatever, but you have to do that. So that nature will not change. What will change is how we purify our nature. And we have to help each other to do that. And we have to accept our different nature. And I tell you, I could give you now endless stories. Again, I would tell lots of stories, from my travels and from my life, what kind of different people I met in Krishna consciousness. In Germany, they were always making propaganda. When you join Hare Krishna, everybody is the same. Hare Rama. You lose your individuality. Oh, I wished I could ever see this. I never saw such an accumulation of such an extreme individualistic, you could call it almost anarchistic people, like in ISKCON. Everybody is different. Some of us became gurus. You think they are all the same? No, they are not. They are very different. We just spoke about this a few minutes before. You have here soon Indradyumna Swami coming. You think there is somebody else's Indradyumna Swami? No. There's only one Indradyumna Swami in the whole universe. And he has his way to present Krishna consciousness. When you invite Krishna Kshetra Swami, I just give really this because I know these God brothers a little bit. So when you invite Krishna Kshetra Swami, everything will be very peaceful and very quiet. It will be just studying, presenting the scriptures like that. Be very quiet when you invite Indranjima Swami. It's going to be very loud. There will be a stage with big amplification, and there will be people dancing, and there will be an action. So this is why not, right? Because the center is still always Krishna. So this is what should give us inspiration. Become tolerant. You learn more and more to tolerate. Not everybody will be like us. Not everybody will be like me. There are so many different people, so many different things. But of course, there's a limit to cooperation according to the motivation of the person. Motivation. And there might be people coming, and sorry, but Prabhupada comments on this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are people coming to this movement not for spiritual purposes. They come for fame, financial benefits, and the pleasure to control others. These three things basically is a quality of a demon. Demons do that. They enjoy it. I have so much money, I can control the others. I can buy them. There's a pleasure in it. Demoniac pleasure. There's absolutely nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. We are all informed. We are all in the same position. That's what makes us one. We are servants. Different servants. Somebody serves in this position. Somebody serves in that position. Somebody is a guru. What is guru? A servant. That's all. He's serving his guru. And he's also serving his disciple by helping him to serve Krishna. That's all. That's it. Finished. There's nothing more to it. He's servant. And the disciple is also servant. And his guru was servant, and everybody is a servant. That's called Guru Parampara. It's a chain of service coming down to us. That's all. That could give us another impetus, just to be tolerant and simply to cooperate. You want to serve Krishna? Very nice. How can you serve Krishna? And most, especially in the early stage, we may want to serve Krishna, but we don't know how. Like we don't know even the nature of this body we have. Sorry, but in the material world, there's constant misinformation. The parents already tell you, you will be like that. You will be like me. Really? No, obviously that's not happening. My father was a famous musician. He wanted me to be a musician. Instead of that, I became a Hare Krishna. Well, that was really shocking. That was really a surprise. No, I was not like him. But they are similar. Yeah, there's genetic similarities nevertheless. But we are not copied. We cannot be copies of each other. No. Eternal individual. That's the information we get from the scripture. So, tolerance is in place. To what degree? To the degree we are similarly motivated. I want to serve Krishna. You want to serve Krishna. How can I best serve Krishna? That commands discipline. And sometimes we find ourselves in a situation that we cannot serve Krishna the way we want it. We have to submit ourselves to an authority. And again, we are back on the same shloka. That whatever a great man does, the small man follows. Prabhupada said, without leadership, we cannot accomplish anything. Then he also defined, as I described before, what leader really is. He even, in front of me, I was present in France when he second time was visiting. That was second time I saw him in New Mayapur. That's in the chateau or the castle in South France. And I was there when Prabhupada said it in a lecture. He said, without cooperation of the Brahminical class, the intelligentsia, and the Kshatriya class, the execution, they are same in principle. but they are very different in the way how they exhibit the thing. Brahmana is teaching, Kshatriya is acting. Prabhupada said, without this collaboration, we will never be able to spread Krishna consciousness. So, this is challenging, of course. And how do you find your nature? That takes time. Even a guru sometimes is experimenting with a disciple. You can do that. No, you cannot do that. Why don't you try this? But preferably, we should, on a certain point, just click into a position we can maintain more in a long-term fashion. This jumping back and forth, this changing all the time, changing. I will not get to it in this lecture. I have such a limited time, but I have such a collection of Prabhupada letters. I can go over it only in principle, but if you ever want to have a detailed documentation on Prabhupada, I can supply it. But Prabhupada is very upset. He said, what's again changing management? He said, every 2 weeks we are changing somebody. He barely learned in that position what to do, and he's already out. And the next one come, and the next one come, and the next one come. Prabhupada didn't like that. So we have to give people sometimes also time to learn. We are all basically very new in Krishna consciousness. So when we are entrusted with some service, sometimes we have to learn, and it takes a time before we become more experienced. When I joined this movement, I was confronted with a service which was diametrically opposed to anything what I had done ever before. There's actually nothing what I learned in a school, and there is nothing what I have done before I joined this movement what I could use in my service. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. I didn't even know it. Because I said, no, I don't want to do the old thing. I was miserable doing what I want. So I consciously decided I don't want to do what I want. And if there's people here telling me, shut up, surrender, and do this, that was those days the regime. If they are wrong, I said, there must be God. He will see it. He will show me. That much faith I had, but I didn't know where it goes. So I found myself in positions doing things which I never have done in my life. And I didn't even know it, how I was going along with that, doing more and more things which I never did in my life. Until I remember my father visited me 20 years later, 30 years later, he visited me. By that time, I managed a temple with 50 devotees. I had a restaurant to manage. I had a temple to manage. I had no garlands managed. Yeah, this is... Okay. Poor flowers. This is Mahal.
It's for you.
Anyway, so I remember the face of my father seeing me after 20 years standing in front of a newly renovated house. I was actually part of the renovation of a house. I was managing a restaurant with 500 people a day coming. I was managing a temple. I had 2 mobile phones, and they was all ringing. I had a walkie-talkie with me. I had no even time to talk to him. And I remember the face. He was standing there. He said, who was teaching you all this? And I said, Prabhupada, ki jai, we just do what we can. And I told him, soon after, I told him, you know what? When things cooled down a little bit, everybody went to sleep. That was the only peaceful time I had, when everybody was sleeping. So I told him, you know what? I love it. I love that chaos. I love that madness every day I'm diving in. It's called management. He said, I love this. And he looked at me like, who is this? That had nothing to do with the boy who left home and became a devotee. Absolutely nothing. So that's how we learn. This is called self-realization, by the way. We don't learn only that we are eternal part of Krishna, the soul, but we also learned what kind of body we got here and how we can apply it. And if you are lucky, you meet a spiritual guidance, somebody who is experienced, and he will tell you immediately, nah, do like this. Don't try to be like that. This is not your thing. Like we have to be all Brahmana, to be intellectual. I will study. I remember one god brother of mine. He was said, we are always doing things in Krishna consciousness. That was Prabhupada's mood. Always doing, go. Do it. He said, I want to study scriptures. I'm more intellectual type. And I remember a god brother who was in charge said, okay, you have my blessing. Up there is room. You go there, take all your books and study. And I was still sitting in his room, and after half an hour, that god brother came down and said, can I do something? It didn't last even half an hour. The man couldn't sit down and read. He was not in that mood. He was not built that way. So they are very different. And Prabhupada was expertly putting everybody there where he could be mostly efficiently engaged. I had one god brother. He's still alive. He told me not so long time ago, proudly, he was still in ecstasy. He said, Prabhupada gave me only one instruction. Make some money. And he was in ecstasy. When I look at him, I was going, yeah, I wouldn't tell him anything else. I'm not going to tell you how he made the money. That's another issue. But that was him. His conditioning. You could call it conditioning, yes. So we use the body by becoming free of the body. This is a principle in Krishna consciousness. If you have a good spiritual guidance, we use our conditioning. And Krishna consciousness will be practiced accordingly. Yeah. Like we have guests here from India. When I go to India, I don't understand so many things. I go to Bengal, I speak to somebody, they go, Acha! And then they go, and I go, why is he disagreeing with me? What did I say? No, in Bengal this means agreeing, not disagreeing. In the West, you go like this, means no, I don't agree. It's just a little example. It's just everything is different. In India, people, there are so many. And they push each other. Chala. You try to do the same thing in Zagreb, people will call police. He's pushing me. He touched me. In India, nobody calls police. They do it to each other all the time. And if the police comes, well, they push even more. Always like this. So, this is very different. But there are devotees in India, there are devotees here. We express ourselves differently. Variety. And this is nice. And we should learn to cooperate by accommodating the individuality and the personality of a devotee. That's not easy. Not easy at all. And it doesn't start by the fact that you disagree and criticize the individuality of another. That's a bad start. I could cooperate if he would disappear, and he must disappear, and he must be gone. And in the end, you are alone. And there are people, and even I saw even, they say, oh, now I can cooperate. I'm alone. I cooperate only with myself. Yeah, but you cannot have a Hare Krishna movement like this. It doesn't work like this. We need others. Actually, we do need others. We need even others to tell us when we are stupid. My best well-wishes in Krishna consciousness were those who, in a very, very well-wishing mood, told me what's wrong with me. I still remember that. I never forgot this. They were absolutely right. But I didn't like to hear that. It was very unpleasant to hear this. But I'm grateful to them. They said it, and they also stopped me to go in a direction where I could get definitely in trouble. They knew my nature. So we need correction and we need protection. When in a frame of cooperation. It's not easy. It's not easy because there's always this unpleasant feeling that somebody's just looking at me so strange. Why is he looking at me so strange? It's very emotional. He's looking at me so strange. What does he want? Suspicion, premature judgment, all these things come. They ruin cooperation. You think, but he didn't say anything yet even. But he's just not nice. I don't like him. This is all very emotional. And so much trouble comes from this emotional conditioning. That we have to put aside. We can see, I had to work in a temple as a manager with devotees who didn't like me even very much. I didn't like them either. Sorry, but no. I would never meet them if I wouldn't be in Krishna consciousness. Actually, I thought they were quite horrible. But they were serving Krishna. You know. They even told me, I don't like you. I said, why not? I don't know. I don't like you. But I like this devotee in a temple. I will help him. I was going, oh, great. You have my blessing. Please go ahead. You know, it happens. Yes. So we have to try to put these things aside. But of course, if somebody is absolutely deviating, we are speaking here about four regulative principles. We are speaking about the basic elements of Prabhupada's philosophy, what he presented, then there is no way to cooperate. And even the majority is deviating. You are not obliged to follow this. Prabhupada said, we are not obliged. You know, and even it's democratically elected stupidity, you don't have to join in. I always remember Vidura, we call it the Vidura syndrome, you know. Vidura was born in the dynasty of those who opposed the Pandavas, who mistreated the Pandavas, and finally initiated the whole war of Kurukshetra against the Pandavas. But Vidura was not, he was devotee. And he was intelligent. He knew this can go only wrong. So he tried to warn nicely, lovingly his relatives, this is a bad idea. Don't fight the Pandavas. They have Krishna on their side. Don't do that. So he was declared to be the traitor. You are leaving us. You betrayed us. You side with the enemies. So he couldn't change it. So he put his bow. He was also a warrior. He put it just in a corner and went on pilgrimage. And he said, I will come later. And when everything was finished, everybody was dead practically. The only one who was left was Dhritarashtra. Then Vidura came again and he said, how was it? Everybody dead, huh? Well, I told you. And he inspired actually Dhritarashtra to come to some level of renunciation on a basis of that frustration what he experienced. So sometimes we also have to go, yeah, this is all evidently wrong. I cannot be part of it. And we can explain. Our loyalty and our faith should go towards the founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, his books, and to those who try to follow, maybe imperfectly. Krishna is so realistic in Bhagavad Gita. He is saying, wherever there is a fire, there will be smoke. So there will be always some imperfection. You have to accept that. This is the world we are living in. Again, false expectation. We expect that the leader must be perfect. But he's also struggling. He's a servant in his position. And he's taking responsibility. That's the important part. And Srila Prabhupada was absolutely protecting those who were taking responsibility. Just to see the faults, but not taking any responsibility, neither try to help to rectify them, that doesn't give us any legitimate position to actually voice some opposition. But you can come and you say, sorry, Prabhu, it could be done also different, and maybe like that, maybe like this, you can suggest. And a pragmatic leader will be very grateful if somebody comes like this. Prabhupada was like that. He listened and he was going, oh, you want to do like that? Yeah. Acha? Okay, why not? Let's go this way. Why not? And devotees were inspired, yeah, thinking, oh, Prabhupada understood me. Prabhupada, we can move on. It's wonderful. So we have to be a little bit tolerant, a little bit pragmatic in our understanding. And we have duties to fulfill. Prabhupada expected us to fulfill certain duties, all in a frame of preaching. This is a preaching movement, by the way. So everybody on the altar, on the street, in his life as he is living, he will be sooner or later find himself being preaching. Somebody says, well, I have a family, I cannot preach. Well, when you make it in a Krishna conscious way, that's preaching. People will notice. Our neighbors are chanting Hare Krishna. What is this? I know, I can tell endless stories of devotees just cooking, preaching. I know one devotee in Czech, he was just cooking for his family. Very good cook. And the neighbors were smelling, what is this? They never smelled anything like this. They said, what is this? And he said, well, can have a taste. They said, oh, this tastes good. Can I have it? Sure. Can I have it every day? Sure. I will pay for it. In half a year, that devotee had a catering with 250 lunches a day. And he didn't make even any advertisement. Because people just talk, hey, this is good. And he said, it's growing all the time. I cannot handle this. It's just me and my wife cooking. Then he hired another devotee driving out, He ended up with a catering company just by cooking. And then, and people know this is the Hare Krishna food. That's already some preaching, sure. And then he got tired of this. He said, I'm just eating. And then he started to distribute small books to every lunch, also like that. You like to read? Yeah, okay, yeah, just please. You can enlarge. It's just a question of enthusiasm and understanding what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. I will not get to all these quotes I just wanted to quote, but I would sit here until 9 o'clock, guarantee. But I don't think you will sit here until 9 o'clock. So, it's of course, there are geographical locations where people congregate much easier as in other locations. That's a fact. We are born in a certain country, in a certain location according to our consciousness. When that similar consciousness accumulates, it's called a nation. It's not a chance that we are born there. And there are many different people, but the very basic attitude. Just recently somebody sent me a map. Some very busy traveling man, young man probably, made a map. How will you be received in this country when you knock on a door and you ask for food? And he divided into, you will always get food, sometimes, or never. And it goes from south to north. Croatia was ranking as always. Okay? And then you go more. I travel around, so I know what will happen. I found the man very accurate. You come to Scandinavian countries, never. Go and register yourself in a social welfare office, then you will get food. Not from me. I don't have to do that. It's all the state managing. And then you come here to people like, sure, even very poor countries. I knew some people that were just traveling, biking, to Bulgaria and Romania, and they said, my God, we never found such a hospitable people. You just come there with a bike and they go, and they give you this foul bread or something like this. So, so it is sometimes, and that plays a role in Krishna consciousness. I come very regularly to Croatia, at least twice a year. I practically travel to all the official places in Croatia. And I have to tell you quite frankly that the way people like to come together here, it's wonderful. That they cannot live together all the time is simply based on a lack of strong leadership. Sorry. When this comes, everything will come together. And there's a power in this place, I tell you. They are efficient devotees. They are very experienced devotees by now. Now I will say something which can definitely get me in trouble. They are enough efficient, responsible, and capable devotees in this country alone. So you don't need some sky-opening mechanism which will send you the one who solves all the problems. You can say, well, this is Krishna. Yeah, but he is going to work through you. And you have to do that. That's coming from a guest. I'm just a guest here. I'm talking now. Tomorrow I'm gone. But you will live in this country and you stay in this place. And you are responsible how that place works already now. So by understanding that responsibility, we can reach out for each other. We can reach out for the other one. You know each other. There are devotees here who know each other in 30 years, 40 years. And then try to organize something. Any little attempt to organize some public appearance of Krishna consciousness in any form. It's a great success. And you know what? When you cooperate, that alone is preaching. Because people will see that. Why do I have a answering, I just quote now one Indian gentleman I met in Sweden. He said, why are devotees so cruel to each other? We don't do this in India like this. We are helping family, Why are devotees not helping each other like that? I was so embarrassed. I had no answer to this. Because I know, it can happen. So people can see this. This is alone preaching. Just by seeing, how you treat your own devotees, how you cooperate, how you are working together. This is why I joined. I didn't join because I was a big philosopher. I like to read books, but I couldn't. The first time I read Bhagavad Gita, I couldn't understand one word. I never heard expression like fruitive activities. I was going, banana or something like this, or fruits, I never heard anything like this before. Well, we shouldn't be attached. I said, attached to what? I couldn't understand anything of this, what is said here. But I could understand how devotees are acting. They were so loyal to each other. You couldn't touch one devotee without getting in trouble with the other. No way. And it was not very, you could say, loving, It was not like, Prabhu, how do you feel? Today, I feel like I am inspired to serve Krishna. If I would come like this in my generation, I joined, I was 18 years old. They were saying, I'm sick. They think, what happened? You want to get married or what? I was a monk, So, this is something you can... Are you male or female? This was this kind of attitude. It's a little bit extreme. But, it's like you can go to another extreme. There will be no emotions. There will be nothing. You just work, serve, mission, discipline, go. Yeah, that's not what Prabhupada meant either. No, we are and devotees especially are very sensitive beings. We come to Krishna consciousness because we got hurt so many times. We got cheated so many times. We got betrayed by others so many times. So obviously, we are very sensitive not to find it again amongst devotees. So there is a great responsibility. Because Krishna says, amongst thousands and thousands and thousands, there is one who even thinks to become a devotee. Devotees are very rare persons. So that would make us maybe more obliged even and more sensitive to the fact that we have to cooperate. We have to be concerned. And there are devotees who are doing that. People can see it, you know. There are religious communities which have no philosophy. I don't know even on what principle they work because they really have no philosophy. But they're helping each other. They're assisting each other. And people are impressed. They go, wow, these people are helping each other. They come together and they do something. I don't want to mention specific communities, but they are actually like that. You know, they can build a temple in 1 week. How? Well, there's 2,000 people coming together. It's a good organization also to organize the whole thing. So, things like that. So, we have to learn still, and we have a long way to go to learn all this. Because to help a devotee, Krishna is even more pleased. And to obstruct a devotee in his service, well, that's probably the worst you can do to yourself. I saw this happening, sorry, but I speak from reality. Devotees being not allowed or blocked out of envy to serve in this way. Those devotees who were part of that crime, they all fell down, all of it. I was sometimes shocked how strict Krishna is. So, but it's not very difficult. It's common sense. You help. And Srila Prabhupada is our perfect example to what a detail and how wonderfully he assisted his disciples. You read his correspondence, I will especially recommend that one. I can give you quotations. You see, I'm not a digital man, okay? I'm still the old-fashioned analog photocopies, writing down notes, things like that. So my files will survive even without electricity, okay? But I created myself a complete dictionary on this. On any issue you want to have some advice, I can give you basically directly Prabhupada talking from his letters about management, even medical advice, how to act as a Vaishnava, how to relate to other religious movements, how to behave in holy dharms, what is ISKCON, what is GBC, how to preach, what is brahmachari, sannyas. This is just divisions I have here. And what is Varnashrama Dharma Society really? And I have more of these files. I have a more division like that. So if you study Prabhupada, you get basically anything you need. And it is actually our only solution to cooperation, to keep Krishna and Prabhupada in the middle. If you are serious with serving Krishna and Prabhupada, then you will also appreciate those who are also serious, even imperfect, to serve Krishna and Prabhupada. And this is the basis of our cooperation. When we have this clear, then the problems, there will be problems, always. You know, sometimes we may even find surrendering to something we will normally not do, just for the sake of cooperation, because things can be done differently. So, okay. This place alone was created for the sake of cooperation. You know, I don't want to comment on this temple because its location and all this is pretty amazing to me. I mean, you know, you are like you have a downtown restaurant there, in Zagreb. That's quite easy to congregate. You just come around the corner and you sit down and eat and meet a devotee. Here, if you don't have a car, you can jump with parachute from the airplane. That's quite easy probably to come down here. So, it's more demanding, which commands also more sincerity. Whoever comes here, well, go up the hill and he has to come here. So, okay, this is one location, but any temple Prabhupada started, and any preaching place, he viewed like an inspirational place to congregate, to come together. And, I can show you letters he writes. He said, and if the place doesn't fulfill this purpose, get rid of it. It's useless. I'm sorry, I'm not saying this should happen here, but, Prabhupada was so firm. Everything has to have a purpose. And the purpose of a temple is to come together, to get inspired, to cooperate. That's all. Otherwise, Prabhupada said, we can sit under a tree. He said, never get a big building which is obstructing your preaching, means actually contacting people. But I can all illustrate this. There are many letters on that issue. So we have to be pragmatic, and we have to always, because I tell you quite frankly, we cannot go back home, back to Godhead alone. Prabhupada said it over and over again. He said, I created this society to inspire each other and help each other to go back home, back to Godhead, but you cannot do it alone. It's very difficult. You have to be a very, very advanced devotee. Prabhupada was alone. But he created cooperation. He created congregation. He created this. And you know what? What was most shocking to devotees? Prabhupada created, more or less, he created us. Okay, we are all Prabhupada's mercy cases. Sorry. I don't understand. Some devotees may act like self-manifested deities or whatever. This is completely outside of my understanding. I would be nobody without Prabhupada. He was the one who just made me to what I am today. And Prabhupada, when he created that, then he joined it. He joined us, really. He said, no, I don't want to go in a hotel. I stay in a temple. And he was going back, Prabhupada, your room is not finished in a temple. I said, I don't care. I want to be with you. This was inspiring. Prabhupada really enjoyed to be with us, as a devotee with devotees. And that's actually how we became devotees. To experience this is so invigorating and so inspiring. So something of that we can project in our lives. And something of that should create the basis of our cooperation. So I will not be too late. I promised I will not overdo it. But anybody interested or more, or maybe bring even a new points of cooperation, please, I'm happy for any information, and I can also share a lot of information on many issues, including this one. I didn't came here to preach, sorry. I came here to share. Preaching to whom? All the old devotees I sit here, they heard everything 1,000 times. Again. So, but Krishna consciousness is like that. It's ever fresh, ever new. So even you repeat the same thing, you get new realization from another angle, from another point. So it's not repetitive, actually, Krishna consciousness. It's Navayovanam, always fresh, always new, and always inspiring. If we project this into our communities, into our congregation, that's interesting. And then people will notice, and people will naturally develop a desire to be part of it. We invite people to cooperate, but are we cooperating? Oh, So this is, people will notice that. And if nobody joins and nobody cooperates with us, Prabhupada said, at least we did something for Krishna. We showed him, we want to be here, we want to cooperate. Prabhupada said, this is already a lot. Just attempt to do that. So I don't know what time we have. It's finished?
3 more minutes.
Huh?
Maximum 3 minutes.
Maximum what?
Maximum 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah, that's... Then we can say Prabhupada ki jaya and that's it. Why not? Why not? Again, I would use the last minute to thank you, please. So nice. It's the first time after some years I see the parking place being filled up, devotees coming in, and they automatically, this doesn't happen everywhere, automatically they meet each other. Haribol, and they're just happy to see each other. This is for me a very intense experience because it's not everywhere like this. No. There are places I could tell you, there's a program announced, big thing, and there's 3 people coming. The devotees. One is from Ukraine, the other one Russia, and the third one is from India. And we are sitting in Sweden. Great. That's it. There are countries without Indian and Russian, there would be no ISKCON. Sorry. Not really. Not exactly normal to me. I think we are the local people. Hey. I joined a movement in Germany. I'm not a German, but I joined in Germany. There was only German devotees. There was not one devotee from outside. So you think, and I enjoy it really, traveling around and see local devotees coming up and having their Krishna consciousness. This is our place, this is our responsibility, this is our congregation. Wonderful, it's great. There are different even varieties, you can taste. You come to Germany and then they go, Hare Krishna. This is an organized movement. This is German. I mean, you go to Mayapur, where devotees meet from all over the world, and just watch. There's a German devotees coming. This is too much. It's so chaotic, this Indian. There's no organization here. The taxi was too late, and this is German. Then comes the Italian devotee. Haribol! What a wonderful holy place. They even have a pizzeria here. It's pasta. Koronga. That's Italian. Comes a Swedish devotee, you will not even notice they come. They don't say anything, no noise, nothing. Because it's all inside. So some people get upset when I start like this. Come Danish devotees and they go, where's the prasadam? Eating, very important issue in Denmark. I know this guy. I mean, I lived in these places. But they are devotees, and they all meet in a kirtan. So this is what this movement is. It's full of variety, but we meet in kirtan. It's one and simultaneously different. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.